The atmospheric processor had been failing for 3 cycles now, and Noah knew he didn't have much time left. The settlement on Kepler 442b had been abandoned 6 months ago when the Terraform project was deemed economically unviable by the corporations back on Earth. They'd pulled everyone out, everyone? Except the maintenance crew that had been too far out in the wilderness to recall in time. Everyone except Noah. He'd made his peace with it. The shelter was solid, built into the side of a cliff face overlooking the Violet Plains. His supplies would last another year if he rationed carefully. The distress beacon pulsed every 12 hours, sending its lonely signal into the void. Though he'd long stopped expecting a response, the storms on Kepler 442b were legendary atmospheric upheavals that could strip flesh from bone and turn the sky into a churning mass of chemicals and ice. Noah had weathered 7 of them already, each one worse than the last. The 8th was coming now. He could see it building on the horizon, a wall of darkness that seemed to devour the twin suns. He sealed the outer door and checked the air filtration system one final time. The shelter would hold. It always did. That's when he heard the sound, a scratching, desperate and frantic against the exterior hatch. Noah's heart hammered. Nothing survived outside during a storm. Nothing should be out there. His hand hovered over the door controls, every survival instinct screaming at him to leave it sealed. The scratching came again, weaker this time. Damn it, Noah muttered, and slammed his palm against the emergency release. The creature that tumbled through the airlock was like nothing he'd ever seen in the colonial briefings. Roughly humanoid, maybe 4.5 feet tall, with skin that shifted between deep blue and silver like oil on water. Her and Noah somehow knew it was a her. Limbs were too long, too graceful, ending in delicate 3-fingered hands. Her head was smooth and oval with no visible nose or ears. Just large eyes that dominated her face. Eyes that reflected the shelter's lights like mirrors. She collapsed on the floor, her body heaving, frost crystallizing on her skin. Her mouth, a small, almost invisible slit, opened and closed soundlessly. Noah didn't hesitate. He grabbed the thermal blanket from the emergency kit and wrapped it around her trembling form. She was freezing, her body temperature dropping so fast he could feel the cold radiating from her. "It's okay," he said softly, knowing she probably couldn't understand. "You're safe now." That's when she looked at him. Her eyes widened impossibly and she went completely still. Not the stillness of relief or exhaustion, but the frozen rigidity of pure primal terror. Her skin flashed through a rapid sequence of colors, red, white, black, and a sound emerged from her throat. Something between a gasp and a chittering alarm. She scrambled backward, the thermal blanket falling away, pressing herself against the far wall of the airlock. Her whole body shook, but now Noah wasn't sure if it was from cold or fear. Hey. Noah raised his hands, palms out, and took a step back. "I'm not going to hurt you." Outside, the storm hit like the fist of an angry god. The shelter groaned and rattled, but the walls held. The creature, Danny, he decided to call her, after his sister back on Earth, pressed herself smaller against the wall, her eyes never leaving his face. Noah slowly sat down on the floor, making himself less threatening. "I'm Noah," he said, pointing to himself. "Noah, human." He kept his voice gentle, the same tone he'd used to calm frightened animals as a kid on the farm. "You're safe here. The storm can't get you." Danny's colors began to slow, settling into a deep purple shot through with silver. Her breathing, he could see her chest rising and falling now, began to steady, but she still watched him with those enormous reflective eyes, and he could see his own face repeated in their depths, distorted and strange. He'd read about this in the xenobiology primers, first contact protocols. Some species had never encountered humans before, and Earth's particular brand of bipedal predator could be unsettling. The forward-facing eyes, the exposed teeth, the endurance hunter build, traits that had served humanity well on Earth were often the stuff of nightmares to herbivorous species across the galaxy. "I know I probably look scary," Noah said conversationally, keeping his movements slow and deliberate as he reached for a water pouch. "Humans are persistence predators. We used to chase our food until it died of exhaustion. Not a great introduction, I guess." He placed the water pouch on the floor between them and slid it gently toward her. Danny's eyes flicked to it, then back to his face. She didn't move. The storm raged for 6 hours. Noah stayed sitting, talking occasionally, mostly staying quiet. He prepared a meal, standard ration bars and synthesized protein, and ate slowly, demonstrating that he wasn't a threat. Danny watched every movement. Around hour 4, she reached for the water pouch. Her hand darted out lightning quick, then retreated with her prize. She didn't take her eyes off him as she drank, and Noah pretended not to notice. By hour 5, her colors had shifted to a soft teal with gold undertones. She'd moved from the wall, though she still maintained distance. Noah pulled up his datapad and showed her images: Earth, the colony, the stars. She tilted her head, and he saw curiosity beginning to replace fear. When the storm finally passed, Noah opened the interior door to the main shelter. Danny followed, hesitant but no longer paralyzed with terror. He showed her the sleeping quarters, the food stores, the observation window that looked out over the alien landscape. She stood at that window for a long time, looking out at the violet plains now steaming in the aftermath of the storm. Then she turned and looked at Noah. Really looked at him, and her colors shifted to something warm and golden. She reached out one delicate hand and touched his arm, just for a moment. Her skin was cool and smooth, and the gesture was unmistakably one of gratitude. Noah smiled. "Yeah," he said. "We're going to be okay." Outside, 2 more shapes appeared on the horizon, moving toward the shelter. Danny's colors flashed in excitement, and she made a series of clicking sounds. Family, Noah guessed. Looking for her. He'd found himself a new purpose on this abandoned world. Not just survival, but something more. A bridge between species, a translator, a friend. The distress beacon could wait.